Today I want to tell you about a few documentary films that left a deep mark on me. Stories that show what Ukraine is really going through. I watch a lot of documentaries, and as Ukrainian I truly appreciate how important it is to capture what's happening in my country. And honestly, these true stories are more powerful than you can ever imagine. You know, when you watch a regular movie you can say, "Thank God, it's not real, it's just a film. That's not blood, they are not really suffering, they're just actors pretending." Or you see someone smiling after everything they've been through and you think, there is no way that's possible. But in documentaries, it is possible. Because it's real life. These films aren't just about Ukraine. They also show the incredible work of filmmakers who risk their lives to tell the truth. They help ordinary people open up, share their thoughts, and show their real lives to the world. A lot of filmmakers want to make movies about war. Everyone's searching for that one unique story or angle. But to me, it's really important to find the right balance between telling a true story and trying too hard to impress the audience. By the way, these aren't the kind of films you watch in a movie theater with popcorn. Most documentaries are shown at film festivals. That's usually where I watch them. But some are available online or even at local film festivals in your own country. So today I want to tell you about some of them. Documentaries that touch the deepest part of my soul. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to Uncovered Ukraine to watch more stories about Ukraine. And hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate it. Well, let's move on. You know, the war in Ukraine has been going on for almost 4 years now. But the scariest time was in 2022, when people faced war and death for the first time. I don't want to retell what happened then, but every single day felt like a shock. People, including me, couldn't accept the reality. It was just too unbelievable to believe. Do you know what depersonalization is? It's when you feel detached from yourself, like you're watching your own life from the outside. That's exactly how we all felt at the beginning of the war. And all our eyes were on Mariupol. That Ukrainian city was surrounded by Russian forces. Many people were trapped and had no idea what was happening inside the city. The lack of information during the blockade served two purposes. Chaos was the first. People didn't know what was going on and they panicked. They made mistakes that cost them their lives. Impunity was the second. With no information coming out of the city, Russian troops could do whatever they wanted. Vyacheslav Chernov, an international journalist working for the Associated Press, was one of the few people who stayed in Mariupol. He documented the siege by Russian troops for more than 2 weeks. Much of this footage was shown on TV, and it became undeniable proof of Russian war crimes. Later, he combined it all into a documentary called 20 Days in Mariupol. As someone who had already seen almost all of that footage on TV and who stayed in Kiev the whole time, I couldn't stop crying through the entire film. For me, it's more than just video footage. It's a painful reminder of everything we've been through. And 20 Days in Mariupol went on to win an Oscar in 2024. So here is the first documentary I think you absolutely have to watch. You can find this film on PBS if you live in the United States or Canada, or on Netflix. The next one is The Hardest Hour. It's a collection of videos from Ukrainians' phones, captured right after the Russian invasion. It includes footage of attacks and destruction, random clips from civilian life, personal stories, reports from volunteers and soldiers, and even video messages to family and friends. You know, you can't fake something like that. I remember my friend once wrote a goodbye message to her mom, just in case they'd never see each other again. And that feeling, I hope I'll never have to go through it again. Actually, I've also combined my own videos into a short documentary, and you can find the link to it right here in this corner. The next one, which you can also find on PBS or Netflix, and which I highly recommend, is Saving the Animals of Ukraine. Many Ukrainians have pets. I have 2 cats myself. Animals are part of our families. If you are a cat lover or a dog lover, you know you could never abandon your loved one under shelling. So people fled the war with their pets, sometimes carrying them on their shoulders. But right after the Russian invasion, some people were in shock. They truly believed they could return home in a week. So they left their pets behind, often without food or water. But the Russians were bombing heavily and there was no way to come back. This film is about saving these animals and about how deeply connected we are with them. Now hundreds of rescued animals are living in shelters across the country. As the war zone expands, more and more abandoned animals need to be evacuated. I'm heading to a pet adoption center here in Ukraine to volunteer. I'll be taking one of the dogs out for a walk today. These dogs don't have pedigrees. They have all been through hard times. Most of them came from the villages near front line. Some of them came from Donetsk region, Kherson region, and others. But they still trust, still wag their tails, and still need our love. Bonnie. Bonnie. Моя розумничка. The next one is Checkpoint Zoom. Such a unique and touching story. I watched it for the first time recently because this film was made with an American audience in mind. They were lucky to see it first. Honestly, I didn't have high expectations. I thought an American filmmaker wouldn't be able to understand the Ukrainian soul. Spoiler. I was completely wrong. I still can't believe how Joshua Zeman managed to capture it all. It feels like he noticed every tiny detail in this story. This documentary went on to win several awards at film festivals across the United States.
You know, American audiences, we've won a lot of audience awards. A lot.
Tribeca.
Yeah, Tribeca, Miami, just a lot. Tribeca, Miami, so many. I mean, we won one last week. Must be 10 or 15 audience awards.
So, what's this story about? In the early days of the Russian-Ukrainian war, Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, was turned into a war zone. On one side was the invading Russian army, on the other, the defending Ukrainians. And cut right in the middle was a zoo, Fieldman Eco Park. Can you even imagine that? Missiles, constant shelling, no food, terrified animals. 5,000 of them, including dozens of dangerous predators. You know, they need tons of meat and people who know how to handle them. Fieldman Eco Park is huge and all these animals were spread out across the park. Some in cages, some out in the open, and the people who used to care for them fled the war. And there was almost no one left to feed them, give them medicine or simply look after them. It felt like fate when 4 young volunteers stepped up to help. Together with the zookeepers, they took on an almost impossible mission, risking their lives to evacuate all these animals. Honestly, it's such a touching story about human kindness, and with all those adorable animals, you just can't stay indifferent. Once you watch this film, you absolutely fall in love with everyone in it. Let me show you some of the footage they captured during their evacuation.
Сьогодні місяць початку війни, і ми продовжуємо евакуацію тварин.
If you love discovering real stories from Ukraine, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one.